Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm here in San Diego, California, and guess what? We're doing some California dreaming with this vehicle right here. What is it? It's your 2024 Acura TLX Type S. But before we get into this mid-size performance sedan that has all-wheel drive, let's talk about what's going on here. Acura, one of those iconic Japanese brands, that premium Japanese brand, really did something special with the TLX Type S because they brought back that badge, the Type S badge, elevating performance, and now you could find that on pretty much all their vehicles except the RDX for some reason. The RDX, they just leave it as A-spec. If you want to go sporty, there isn't an actual Type S. Now, what's fascinating, in the industry, a lot of brands are switching over to some type of hybrid format for their performance sedans. Acura, though, is still keeping it true to their game, bringing that ICE component, turbocharged goodness, and like I said, all-wheel drive. Now, we could easily talk about the usual suspects from those German luxury brands. BMW with the 3 Series, Audi with the S4, and of course, Mercedes AMG. But what I want to do is I want to keep it even Stevens and kind of do iconic Japanese brand versus iconic Japanese brand. So what I want to find out is, should you spend your hard-earned money and go Acura TLX Type S, or should you go with the Lexus IS 500? Little different interpretation between the two on what makes a performance sedan, but let's go ahead, let's dive into our TLX Type S and find out, is it the one to buy? Right off the bat, the color. This is new for 2024, urban gray pearl, really fits it to a T. And when you compare it to colors like Nardo Gray from Audi, the biggest difference is that it has this gold pearlescent glimmer. It's like one of the 49ers back from the gold rush days sprinkled some of that gold dust all over this beautiful paint job, and it really gives it a nice, unique style. Now, as we work our way down, you're gonna get that multi-jewel LED high beam headlights, and then you're gonna get your LED chicane. You see how it's like a chicane on a racetrack? Chicane style daytime running lamps. Now, as you work your way down, you do have some gloss black, nothing too crazy, and you do have a little bit of functionality for the corner air curtains. I just wish this was all functional. So I am gonna zonk it, even though it does have a little bit of functionality. It's just that when you compare it to the front of the IS 500, the IS 500, all the vents are fully functional. This one, not so much. Now you'll notice on the bottom, you have that gloss black splitter, pretty beefy. And then as we come across the front grille, this is where you're gonna see the biggest difference. On the Acura, you actually have a separation between the top and bottom portion of the grills. So up top, they actually increased this by 30%, the openings, to bring more cool air. You do have a forward-facing camera, of course the Type S badge, bringing that performance. And then down below, you could actually see the large intercooler for our turbocharged engine and tons of open space for cool air to help with that performance that's heating up underneath the hood. And I really like the way they worked the lower splitter area. Now, compared to the Lexus IS 500, that has that big open grille design that is sort of like a waterfall, that spindle design that's like a waterfall from top to bottom. But let me know in the comment section, do you like the face of the Acura or do you like the face of the Lexus? Now, as we rise up, love the way they work that peak into the front fascia, and then it kind of flows into the hood and evaporates. These two crisp body lines give you good visual reference points from behind the wheel. And then as we come around the bend, this one has the optional performance wheel and brake option. What do we have going on? Check it out. Love these copper toned wheels, V-spoke design. They are forged, so they're gonna be lighter than cast aluminum and stronger. You're gonna have your Brembo calipers with the Acura script. It's a little hidden from the V, from the Y, but it's there. And I like the touches, how they actually give you black lug nuts. Something so simple, but yet it looks oh so good. Let me know in the comment section if you're liking urban gray pearl and the copper wheels. You'll notice our rotors are 14 inches up front and about 13 inches out back. And if you're wondering, well, what's the size of the wheel? 20-inch wheel. Tires are 255 on the width, 35 series sidewall. And then remember, we have that special adaptive tune suspension, all four corners for the different driving modes. Now, when you drop back and you notice the side of the vehicle, you'll see that you have your Type S badge. I like the way they put one on the front, one on each side, and then you'll see there's one on the back. From the side of the vehicle, this is definitely a midsize. Larger than an Acura Integra Type S, but not a full size. They don't call this a full size sedan. Now up top, they do give you a standard size sunroof. Let me know if you think that this should have a panoramic sunroof. I would say for the price, it should. It's a pretty beefy price point. Color matched on the door handles. And then I really like the indentation that's in the side of the TLX. And one of the things to remember is the way that they designed this vehicle, like from the side, is that you have a lot of front overhang. It almost makes it look like it's a rear-wheel drive sedan. But remember, the TLX Type S and just the TLX is front-wheel drive base, but you could get all-wheel drive. Now, as we come down the side of the vehicle, love this nice, crisp body line that comes off the door and then fades as you get towards the taillights. The tire setup is going to be squared, 255s, all four corners. My one zonk is I wish we would have had actual Brembos back here rather than just painted stock floating calipers. And then as we kind of swing it around back, what do we got going on? From the factory, you're going to get this nice gloss black trunk lid spoiler. You got your LED lighting just like up front. Look at how they hide the button to open up the trunk within the taillight housing. Super handling all-wheel drive that sends up to 70% of the power to the rear wheels. And then out of that 70%, 100% could be sent to either side. And then working our way down to ground level, one of my favorite parts is the quad tip exhaust. They're functional, staggered tips. And what's nice is when you go into the different modes, it actually makes it louder or quieter depending on what your plan is for your driving experience. And then I love that great rear diffuser. And then of course we have the Type S badge. Like I said, all four corners. Why don't we go ahead though, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our TLX Type S. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts to hold the hood open. Underneath the hood, tasteful engine cover with the Acura badge, and then it's real easy to find the single large turbo. It's actually located right there up top for everybody to see. But what do we actually have power-wise? We have that 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine. What's great about it is that the crankshaft is forged and the rods are forged. So this thing could actually handle more power than what it's being produced. And if you're wondering, well, how much is being produced? 355 horsepower, 354 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 10-speed automatic. Now, if you're comparing this to the Lexus IS 500, you would know that underneath the hood of that vehicle, you have a naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 that puts out 472 horsepower and has an 8-speed automatic transmission. And you might be wondering, what about 0 to 60? In this vehicle, 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds, quarter mile in 13 seconds flat at 108 miles per hour. Top speed is governed to 155 miles per hour. The vehicle weighs right around 4,212 pounds. MPGs 19 in the city and 25 on the highway. Now the interesting thing is that you might be saying, well, Joe, if the IS 500 has that much more horsepower, why are you comparing the two? The reason why is, even though we have less horsepower in the TLX Type S, remember the TLX Type S has that super handling all-wheel drive. The IS 500 is just rear-wheel drive, so you have to take that into consideration. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this TLX Type S and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Acura TLX Type S. Like I said, this one does have the performance wheel and tire package, especially with those copper colored wheels. Now I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I don't want another SUV. I'm so sick of SUVs. Everybody and their mother has one and they just make me want to puke. But I do like sports sedans, especially ones that have some performance like this TLX Type S. How much is it? Very good question. MSRP, the way that this one is optioned, is right around $71,000. You compare it to a Lexus IS 500, it's pretty much mano-y-mano when it comes to the price point. They're pretty much equal. So it comes down to what kind of experience do you want? Well, let me show you what you get on the interior. To the door panels. Love the fit and finish. You have soft touch material up top. If you notice, that silver material is actually is real aluminum, believe it or not. And I love at the top, you see that little edge? That's actually ambient lighting. So you have your ambient lighting within the aluminum metal trim. Then you have the ELS Studio premium sound system with the aluminum speaker grille cover. Look at the red stitching. That was added for 2024. Makes the door panel pop with the red on the armrest. No gloss black. And you got a good enough pocket down there where you could get easily 2 Chipotle burritos with extra guac, even though guac costs extra, and a large root beer to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, same thing. All the stitching up top, the soft touch material. On the side, you do have a little Twinkie tray for your passenger, and there's a 12 volt. But the 12 volt is not for your passengers, it's for you to run a radar detector, which you're gonna want in this vehicle. When it comes to the center stack, you have a new 12.3 inch infotainment system. You could touch it, it just doesn't do anything. It's not a touchscreen. You gotta use the precision touchpad, which really is not that big of a deal. You can see how you could scroll on the right side. I could go into home and you have all your usual apps and functions. And to me, I like it better than a touchscreen because you don't get fingerprints all over it. That's the really nice thing. The Lexus does have a touchscreen now. They did update it with a touchscreen instead of that crappy Lexus touchpad, which is worse than this one if you don't like pads. Throw it into reverse, nice resolution on the cameras. When it comes to, obviously, out back, you got your trajectory lines, 360. Watch this, I'm gonna put it in a park. New for 2024 is gonna be Acura Lane Watch. Boom. So this is out the front. And what's great is you're just pressing, show them, Steven, where the camera button is right on the stalk here for your windshield wipers. You just hit it, and look, there's those beautiful wheels. You don't want to curb those beautiful wheels. That noise, it's like nails on a chalkboard, fingernails on a chalkboard. You don't want to curb those. So it's nice to have the cameras. Work your way down, real buttons, baby. Thank you. Love the dual climate control. You got your 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats. You got your dynamic mode knob that's actual metal. Look when you look on the screen when you change. Sport. You could go into Sport Plus. I can hear the exhaust get louder. I love it. And then you press the center button, which is your preference, and you could adjust everything individually, which is really nice. You do have your push button transmission selector for the 10-speed automatic. This is the only gloss black in the whole car, and I'm happy that that's it. You have a nice silver start-stop button that illuminates bright red. There's your precision touchpad. It really is not a big deal. Nice volume knob. The metal, real metal trim. I like the palm rests. You got your wireless charger, even for your iPhone 47, 2 cup holders. Your Type S key fob. Nicely done. Soft, like a nice soft cherry. Look at that stitching. Open it up. You got a USB-C, a USB-A, a 12 volt, and there's enough room in here. I would say you could easily put 4 Padres signed baseballs in there. So once you're done playing with your balls, you can put your balls in there, all signed by the players, and then close it up. Seats, the leather, look at the piping, the Type S embossed, the Alcantara, the bolstering, full electric assist for the passenger, full electric assist for the driver, and then of course you have that standard size sunroof. Now looking at everything, definitely higher level of luxury in here compared to the Lexus, and newer modern feel. The Lexus does feel a little dated on the interior. But why don't we come over here to the business end? I want to show you this steering wheel that looks like it was plucked right from the mighty NSX. Come on over. All right, guys, we are behind the wheel, the business end. 2 memory seat settings. You got this nice, simple Type S aluminum sill plate to welcome you. And look at that pedal box, right out of Acura's GTP race car. Aluminum dead pedal, brake pedal, and throttle. Type S badges on the floor mats. That's worth an extra 5 horsepower. And you got your multi-positionable seats with the lower lumbar. I'm 6 feet tall. It feels fantastic in here. And then, of course, the steering wheel. Like I said, it looks like it's right out of the NSX. Flat bottom, the red stitching, the 2 different types of leather, and it's good quality leather. Flat black on all the switch gear, the Type S badge, and then you have the paddles, which I wish were metal on the back of the wheel, but they're not. Manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then, of course, you have that nice full digital gauge cluster that when you go through your different modes, it actually changes what's on the screen. And there's our little Acura TLX in the center. I'm stepping on the brake pedal and it makes the lights come on and everything. But cool that it changes the graphics and you can bring up all sorts of information, a cornucopia of information, and you have a HUD, a head-up display. But let's get in the back seat and see how roomy it is for your passengers in this TLX. All right, guys, back seat time. And this is really where your passengers are going to be happy you went TLX Type S over the Lexus IS 500. There's just more room back here. It's that simple. Now on the backs of the seats, you got some of the leather, but I like the way that they put the plastic. I just wish it was a little softer maybe, because we all know your kids are going to kick the back of the seat. They don't listen. They're going to wipe their grubby paws all over it. I don't want them messing up the leather in here because it's beautiful. Large pockets. You could put, I would say, maybe 2 1-pound bags of Twizzlers back here. And you know what? This interior is like a Twizzler. I feel like I'm sitting in one big Twizzler. But I love Twizzlers, so I'm okay with that. Let me know in the comment section, do you like Twizzlers? Or are you just not a licorice kind of person? Anyways, you do have a little command center in the back. Your AC vents, I like the way they give you 2 illuminated USB-Cs. If you're wondering why is this so high, it's because we have a drive shaft that's going underneath it that sends power to the rear wheels, because we have super handling all-wheel drive. Sitting here though, you got your ELS premium studio, 3D studio sound system really surrounding you in here. And then look at that, nice and soft, like a chewy gumdrop. You got a place for a Twinkie back here and 2 cup holders. But why don't we get into the trunk, because I want to go on throttle in this TLX. All right, guys, time to get in the trunk. Like I said, real simple. Just find that button that's nicely hidden within the taillight housing. You hit that, rises up. You're going to be greeted to about 14 cubic feet of space, which is quite usable space. You'll notice how low the cargo floor is. The seats do fold 60-40 split. And one thing I want to notice, you see those black X's, parts of the X? There is an X brace in the back trunk to tie in the rear shock points to stiffen up the back of the car. That shows you the performance and tension. You don't get that on a Lexus IS 500. These are the handles to fold the seats down. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold one down to show off that that piece there, because I just think it's a thing of beauty. That's this part right here. Really like the bracing. Just gives it that extra cool factor, something different. Now underneath the cargo liner, there is not a spare, so no spare, and the battery is actually mounted in the trunk to help with that weight distribution. But you know what? It's that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get inside our TLX Type S and go for a little on-throttle spin. All right, guys, we are inside this Acura TLX Type S. I have it in Sport Plus mode, of course, and we are going to kind of showcase some of the ins and outs of this car. You know, unfortunately in San Diego, there's not a bunch of good roads, but we will do our best to showcase what we can. The one thing you're gonna love right away is just how comfortable this car is. I mean, the multi-positionable seats really allow you to adjust the bolstering, of course, the lumbar, and just really seamless on getting it perfect to your certain body type. And then you just have that setting where you could save up to 2 different settings in here. And if you let somebody borrow your TLX Type S, they don't have to mess with your seat settings, which makes it really nice. Visibility out front is fantastic. Got a great view over the hood. And then out back, you got really good visibility as well. But what's really nice is the fact that you have those different drive modes, each with their own different personality. All right, guys, if you're ready, I'm ready. We're gonna go on throttle underneath the overpass. On throttle, here we go. On the brakes. Remember, we have the beefed up brakes in this vehicle because of the performance wheels and tires. Really handles well, holds the line very nicely. And then getting out onto the highway, you got plenty of torque to just get you off the line. And of course, we have that super handling all-wheel drive that's gonna get the power to the ground. And I think that's one of the things that I love about this car is just how secure you feel to the asphalt. Of course, you could put it into manual shift mode, which I'll do right now, and you can shift with the paddles behind the wheel. On throttle. There is some sound being pumped in through the speakers, but to be honest with you, it's nothing too overbearing. And if you are comparing it to the IS 500, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. The IS 500 does sound better. I mean, it's a naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 for Pete's sake. So it's definitely gonna sound better. But with all that being said, I do like the way the torque delivery is with this turbocharged V6, and it's just very balanced. You know, Acura does something really nice with their steering feedback and feel that you just don't get in the Lexus IS 500. Now, when it comes to room, like I said, I'm 6 feet tall, got plenty of room in here, feel great. The paddles are at a good distance from the wheels so that you could easily go up or down. And you do have a decent sized gear indicator in the lower left corner of the gauge cluster, which is nice as well. All right, guys, you ready? On throttle, here we go. Look at this. Really nice, controllable. Even over the ripped up pavement and stuff, it drives really, really well. Really well. And then when you get to a dead end, what's nice is that you can make U-turns, you can do whatever you need to very, very easily. It's a good size of a vehicle, and that's what I like about it. So like in this cul-de-sac, making a U-turn, I mean, no big deal whatsoever. But really what's nice is that the interior, all the appointments in here really give it a nice overall feel when you are behind the wheel. On throttle, here we go. On the brakes. Remember, we have that electric brake setup actually taken from the NSX and put into this TLX Type S. Takes a little bit to kind of get your mind wrapped around what is actually going on because of how it is integrated between your foot making contact with the brake pedal and how the braking is. But once you get used to it, it's actually nice and easy to modulate the brakes. And then the steering is really where it's at in this car. But it's just crazy how even in Sport Plus mode, driving over the rough pavement, it's not translating to an upset chassis. And I really appreciate the work that they did to the chassis itself. Another thing is obviously all the safety features in here. You have your blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, brake assist, all those things. Plus, having the addition of the Acura watch really allows you to be able to see everything very clearly. But I'm gonna go over these speed humps a little on the quicker side just to show you just how buttoned down the chassis is. I mean, it's great. Here we go. Love it. Nice. Look at this. And what's great is when you downshift, it almost like blips the throttle. It's really nice. I'm gonna put it back into automatic shift mode so that you can experience that, because it's really, really nice how it does that. So the shifting, whether you're going up or down the gearbox, is very quick and smooth, but when you get on the brakes, it does this really cool kind of downshift to really just stabilize the car. All right, guys, so I have it in automatic shift mode, and you'll see how it goes when we go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. Nice. Look at that, holds the gear nicely. Woohoo! And like I said, this pavement is not tabletop smooth, but yet it feels really controllable and good when you're behind the wheel, and I can appreciate that. Another thing that's great is I got the gauge up where it actually shows the all-wheel drive working, which is really cool as well, especially being a car person. But just very impressed with how composed the car is. Obviously, daily driving this would be a dream. And the fact that things like the sound deadening material, it's actually very quiet in here and not a lot of noise and vibration going on. And you can see that transmission shifts very, very well. Very well. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of what the TLX Type S is bringing to the table. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day in so many ways here in San Diego, California. Definitely want to thank the whole Acura team getting us access once again to a TLX Type S. Let me know what you think. Are you going with the turbocharged goodness and the all-wheel drive and all the other amenities that come on the interior, or are you going with the Lexus IS 500? Very curious to see what you have to say about the two in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radius Rides family. You need to give it up to the man, the myth, the legend. He flew all the way across the country to be out here in San Diego, and he's making the great video camera footage, and he also is thinking about somebody special back home. So in the comment section, take a guess who you think that somebody special is. It's definitely not me, because I'm right here with Steven in San Diego. But thank you, Steven, for your hard work, and just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.